Is Johnathan Majors, Kang from Marvel, really being used as a bit of a scapegoat? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So yesterday I did a video talking about how within virtually minutes of Johnathan Major being found guilty of the misdemeanor assault case, Marvel basically let reporters know that they would be cutting ties with the actor. This has thrown into question the whole Kang Dynasty that was planned. If you're a regular SciTrekker, you'll know that I've actually already talked about this a little bit and actually said that, for one, Loki Season 2 was rewritten to allow for the Kang Dynasty to sort of end there if needed, and that actually Avengers 5, which was slated in as being Avengers 5, the Kang Dynasty, is now internally just being called Avengers 5. There is a writer, the guy actually that did Loki Season 2, has come in and is completely reworking the script. So it does look like if we see Kang, it will 100%, well, it won't be Johnathan Majors, but there is a possibility we might see a CGI version of Kang if they do decide to do something and close off that storyline. But did they have to sack him? Well, for one, he was only actually found guilty of a misdemeanor. This does mean he could face a year in prison, so it's no little thing. But what he was actually found guilty of was he had a phone. A text came through and it basically said, I wish I was kissing you. This isn't me, by the way, I didn't text him. Another woman. His girlfriend saw this message, went nuts, grabbed his phone. He grabbed the phone back, put her arm up behind her back apparently and smacked her in the back of the head to, give me my phone back. That is actually what he was found guilty of. There were other things. This does seem like it was a very toxic relationship. And Marvel sacked him for that. Now, for one point, he was found guilty of a criminal act. So most contracts allow people to be fired if you're found guilty in a court of law of a violent act. In my real job, if I am found guilty of lots of different crimes, to be honest, I can be fired for it. So, on one respect, it's not massively shocking. They had an out, because legally there'll be something in that contract to say, look, if you put us in disrepute or you get found guilty of a criminal offence, you can be released from your contract. You can be fired. And there's no recourse, really, for Johnathan Majors. There's nothing he can do about it. But did they have to? Well, if you consider Ezra Miller's case, so from The Flash, he has had a lot of very dodgy criminal stuff about him, but I have to say that a lot of it was alleged, because he was actually never found guilty in a court of law for most of it. He was found guilty for trespass and something else, and he had to promise to basically do anger management stuff and regular drug testing and things. So he was found guilty, though, of that. So in theory, I suspect Warner Brothers could use that to fire him from The Flash and replace him if they'd have wanted to. I think The Flash was far enough along, though, that it would have been insanely expensive to do that, and that's possibly one of the reasons why they didn't. Don't forget that if you like the video, please hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. It really helps with all those pesky YouTube algorithms. Also, subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification so you never miss any of our new videos. And I do think that all of that stuff really harmed the movie and caused a lot of very negative publicity in the run-up. So, Marvel are obviously trying to avoid a similar sort of thing. But a lot of Marvel films have not done very well in the last few years. And as I spoke to you about in the last video, they've been trying to do a massive reset. They've been wanting to go a different direction with Marvel, and they have already started to do that. They've already slowed down the calendar. They are reworking several of the TV and movie projects. Are they using Johnathan Majors' criminal problem as an excuse to get rid of him, but more importantly as an excuse to change the storyline, a storyline that isn't working? Because Disney don't want to stand up, and Marvel don't want to stand up and go, this isn't working, you people don't like this, we're going to do something else. Instead, they can stand up and say, because of Johnathan Majors' criminal activities, we have been forced to change the storyline, and this is now what we're doing. it's less embarrassing for Mickey and his friends. I am wondering if that is at least not part of the reason why Johnathan Majors was fired, because, as I said, he was only found guilty of a misdemeanor as a maximum of 1 year in prison. Speaking to a legal person I know, they've said the chances are he will not go to prison, even though he didn't actually say he was guilty. If he'd have actually said he was guilty at the start of this court case, it probably would have ended very, very quickly. And the chances are he'd have just got like community service and maybe some anger management. I'm being told he'll probably still will get that, but he'll get more of it. So it's unlikely he's going to go to prison, according to my friend who works in the legal area. I will point out that he's British, he's not an American legal expert, so it might be a little bit different. This same person, though, is the one who said to me that, look, that's how they got out of the contract. He's basically said there'll be something in his contract about putting the Marvel and Disney into disrepute, so they get rid of him that way, but there's almost certainly there's something about him being found guilty of a crime. I can't help but feel, though, that if Marvel had really wanted to, they could have made this go away. Robert Downey Jr., at the end of the day, was found guilty of several crimes, and he did go to prison. But they then hired him as Iron Man, because he was the right man, and they knew he'd be popular. Now, I'm just saying here that I think they could have spun this if they'd have wanted to. They could have said, yeah, he's our Kang, we want him to continue. This is Johnathan Majors. He was in a toxic relationship. Obviously, things went wrong, but this isn't the person he is. He was provoked. He's going to go to anger management. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. We want him to continue. And people would have forgotten about it. But instead, they've decided to sack him immediately. And I suspect that is because, at least in some level, they wanted to. Now, is that because they just wanted to change the storyline? Is that because maybe they had issues with Johnathan Majors themselves? We will probably never know for certain. But it does seem to me that him being done for this misdemeanor assault is most definitely convenient, at very least, for lots of people over at Marvel. And will give them a really nice excuse for a change in direction that has been forced on them, really, by a bunch of movies that have been crap, or at very least, not well received at the box office. But guys, what do you think? Get into the comments. Is this convenient for Marvel and Disney? Or do you think really they had no choice, considering he was found guilty of a physical assault against a woman? I was always taught you don't hit women, however much you're provoked. So I have to admit, I look down on this and I say this guy, he did hit her in the back of the head, and that's not great. And he's been found guilty of that, so I don't have to say allegedly. But what do you think? Get into the comments. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, most importantly, so you never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos premiere first. And you can go to SciTrek.co.uk, which is our dedicated website where we do stories based on most of our videos, and we try to add a little bit more information for you to digest. Go check it out. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.